We are here finally with Mr. Mitch Malloy. We've been trying to set this up for like what, a year and a half?
Seems like 3 years, but
Oh
yeah,
my God,
probably.
yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
But hey, now we have something big to talk about. We got the last song
Yeah. I
coming
just
out.
didn't, I just don't find myself that, interesting. So I have to wait until I have something that I find interesting.
Well, this is pretty interesting. So this is like a culmination of just years just bubbled up in here. So how do you think that like sets it apart from everything else you've done? Because you're not working with like deadlines.
Well, it's so funny because it's like jokingly, I say it took me 47 years to make this. So it better sound good, man.
I'm hoping. I mean, from the single, from One of a Kind, so far it's going good. What made you want to release that as the single? Do you think that just like encapsulates everything?
Yeah, yeah. For me, that's my favorite track on the record. And not other people, I've done a lot of interviews, right? So a lot of interviewers pick other tracks. But you know
Yeah.
what? That that's always been the case for me. Like people always say, "Oh, my favorite on your record is da da da," and it could be like song 8,
Yeah.
song 9, song 10, song 6, whatever. Like people have different favorites, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is.
You're speaking to the masses, I guess. It's definitely a
Yeah,
plus.
yeah, yeah.
So what makes One of a Kind your favorite? Is there any reason in particular or just
That's tough. Like for so many years I've been doing this, you're just trying. It's funny because people ask me, "Are you trying to do this? Are you trying to do that? Are you trying to?" Because they don't really understand probably the process.
yeah,
Um, but for me, I'm just trying to be good. You
that's
know,
fair.
it's very basic. It's like I'm just trying to like it.
Yeah.
You know, like, do I like this guitar riff? No, that guitar riff sucks. What if I do this? Oh, yeah, okay, that's better. I mean, that's like pretty much with everything. This bass part. Do I like this bass part? No, that didn't work. Didn't move the song in the right way. Doesn't the relationship with the vocal isn't right or whatever. Should
Yeah.
try this. Oh, that works. Cool. Oh, that's even better than that. Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just that's really what it is. It's just I'm just trying to be good. And so you have to like please yourself, right? You have to be
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I really like this, and I hope somebody else does too. But if they don't, oh well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do. I mean, I'm bouncing things off of me. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
it.
and that's a plus too, because you're doing everything yourself. I mean, writing,
Yeah,
recording, you're producing, mixing, mastering.
yeah,
Is this all like a self-taught too, right? You're just figuring this out, kind of.
yeah, yeah. Like when I say 47 years, I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
started my first studio 47 years ago when I got my first 4 track.
Yeah.
You know, I had a 4 track, and then it was a 4 track reel to reel. And then I got this thing, and then I got that thing, and I got this, and boom, 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 boom. And I was bouncing, every time things would the technology advanced, I would get the latest thing, you know,
Yeah.
and that's been happening for 47 years, basically. So, um, yeah, so now I'm to another level in the studio where everything got smaller,
Yeah. It's
you
strange.
know, like really small, which is great. And you can just kind of reach for things and things are already kind of plugged in. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I want to change a guitar track that I might have started 3 months ago, like I hear something different and I open the project. So that guitar part is called, Explorer, Plexi, whatever, the
Yeah.
guitar, I label it so the guitar and the amp and whatever. And I can just grab that guitar and plug it in, and it sounds exactly like it did 3 months ago. Like
Yeah.
you could never do that back then. Like I
Yeah.
forget it. Like it was like, it took you a week to find a good guitar, to get a good guitar sound, first of all. And then if you had to come back 3 months later, forget it. It would never sound the same. So
Yeah.
things have changed in a way, for the better in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you talked about like when you first opened the studios and stuff, you'd be collecting new gear. That hasn't changed at all. I'll get texts from you at like 2 in the morning. Oh, I just bought this guitar.
Oh,
Like
you mean like you know me?
a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how much new gear would you say that you've bought since you've started like the
Oh,
recording process for this album?
oh, come on. Like, what's so I bought so many guitars for this album.
Yeah.
And I'll do that pretty much for every album. And then some of them stay and some of them go, because you try things like, oh, this part needs this kind of guitar and I don't have that guitar. So you buy one
Might as well
and
get it.
then, yeah, and then maybe that one didn't nail it. So you buy a different one and then that one did. So then you sell the other one. And it's very specific. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm probably selling 4 or 5 guitars that I'm about to sell that I didn't, I don't need them. If I like
Yeah.
like I said, some stay and you're like, oh, you're staying forever.
Yeah.
Like the Black Explorer that I got, that's in. Like I'll
Yeah.
never sell that guitar.
Yeah.
I'm using that for leads and I'm using it for lots of stuff. It's a great guitar.
What about the telly from One of a Kind? Is that one staying?
Yeah, that stays. Yeah, that I
That was a
built
good one.
I built it just for this album. I built
Wow.
that guitar for I wanted an Evertune bridge. And people out there, they don't care about this stuff, but we're nerding out because you're a musician, I'm a musician. And
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a thing called an Evertune that came out, I don't know, like 10 years ago now or something, maybe longer than
Yeah.
that. And it stays in tune. It's a bridge that has springs in it, and it knows where the tune is, and
That's
it's
insane.
it's insane, and it stays there. So I have a Les Paul like that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I need a telly because on the way I play a lot of open strings, and I
Yeah.
use all the strings at once a lot when I play. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it other than that. Like I and guitars have they're challenged to play in tune when that's your style. It's
Yeah.
hard to get a guitar that will play in tune all over the neck. So Evertune invented this thing that does that, and I didn't have one in a telly. So I thought I got to build an Evertune telly. So that's what I did, and that's the one. Yeah,
Well then, yeah, that one should definitely stay. It seems like
yeah,
there was a decent amount of work put into this.
yeah, it was, and it stays because it won't be. A lot of my guitars are not worth anything to anybody else because I build them and they don't have the right
Yeah.
name on the headstock. You know,
Yeah. So we got 10 songs on the album because this is all being done by you. There's not like labels or anything. How do you decide when it's done? Do you just when you feel good about it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It comes like I had 8 songs pretty much finished. Like okay,
Yeah.
these are good, these are finished, these are ready for mass consumption, and hopefully mass. And then I wrote uh One of a Kind was song 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this might even be my favorite one because it just has like just swagger and it's just kind of nasty. And I like the
Yeah.
message and I just love that song. That's why I threw it out there first. And then the last song, I was just writing, I needed one more song. And I'm like, okay, this will be the last song. And I'm like,
There it is.
that's a terrible title.
But
Unless it's Living My Life like it's the last song, then it's not terrible.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
how that
so
happened.
so is your goal now to play any of these songs live? Because you've done like M3 Fest and the Monsters of Rock cruise before. Is that something that we're looking at in the next year,
I've
hopefully?
yeah, I've done the cruise twice. Yeah, if I am asked to do those shows, I will go do those shows. I have not.
Larry, listen
I
up, Larry.
Yeah, Larry, I have not yet been asked.
Yeah.
So
I
I
will
don't
forward
know.
this to him directly.
Yeah, do it.
So, are you gonna look to do any other like local shows in Florida too? Are you gonna try to get some of those going?
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of things. We have a few things in the works that I'm not really talking about yet, because I don't like to talk about things until they are actually happening.
Well, this business does change quite
A
fast
lot of
too.
people say a lot of things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I told you the amount of things that have been promised to me over the years, would blow your mind. So yeah, so you learn like,
Yeah.
okay, I probably shouldn't talk about that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
really, really cool things happening, hopefully.
yeah. But
Yeah.
no, I've had people come on this and like say stuff is going to happen and then it never happens. So
Yeah.
it's smart of you to avoid that.
Yeah.
So other than be good, which is a good goal to have with an album, what is like the one thing that you want people to take away from the last song album? If you had to pick like a message or anything.
Uh, I hadn't really thought about that, Sam.
Yay, I've stumped him.
Yeah. What's the one thing did you say?
Yeah,
Like,
like what's the main thing that you'd want somebody to take away after listening to this album other than, oh shit, that was really good? Because that's a cheating answer.
yeah, but that really is I mean, what else is there? Like, like I wonder what he has for breakfast. I mean, I mean, it's
Maybe.
like, yeah, no, it's like that's really all there is. I mean, all you can do is hope that people will get a fraction of what you put in there. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I put 1,000% of me in this album, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like an exhausting, awesome experience to make it. So there's no way anybody is going to, well, I shouldn't say there's no way, but it's not likely that anyone will get from it what I, got from it or put into
Yeah.
it. Right. So all you can hope for is that they'll get something and they'll dig it. And some
Yeah.
people love it and some people like it. Some people say, this is the best thing you've ever done. And some people say, this is good. And there's a big difference between this is good and this is the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
But really, I don't think I really have an answer for that. Sorry.
So, but do you feel this is the best thing you've ever done?
In a lot of ways, yeah. Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like because when you take on this challenge and you're kind of doing everything,
Yeah.
there are different, there are all kinds of different um, plateaus that you reach or different successes that you have that are specific to certain, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for me, when I, for instance, if somebody sent me like yesterday, um, a radio station played it. So they sent me them playing it and it had an intro over the intro, like a talking introducing me and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
so I'd never heard that before because it was a brand new thing. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then the guy stops talking and I start singing and everything. You can hear the record just on my phone. And I'm like, yeah, listen to that snare sound. I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are little victories, you know, that you try to make happen when you're making a record. Like every little teeny piece of the puzzle is like you're putting it in there. And
Yeah.
so little victories like that, you're like, yes. And I just love the overall vibe of that song.
Yeah.
It's a big success. So if everybody doesn't get that, I don't really mind because I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to wrap things up, just one final, whatever you want people to know about this album, because they're still listening. If you're somehow not convinced, make them get it. This is your time to shine.
Uh, Look how cool the cover is.
Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, really, I can't with words. I can't.
Yeah.
I, there are no, you know what I mean? Like it's all about
Yeah.
the music. Let the music do the talking, Sam.
I will try.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Mitch. I'm glad we finally got to get this rolling.
Yeah, man.
We
It's
will
good
do
to see you.
more on the last song too
Okay.
in
See
another
ya.
47 years.